Well, I guess I'm in a position to speak for every Mariner fan who's sick and tired of what they've been watching with this.
So, what would you say is the most frustrating thing that's been going on with this team right now?
The offense. Watching them struggle, watching them get runners on base, outside of lately where they've managed 1 hit in a game, 2 hits in a game. But before that, they were getting runners on base, and they couldn't push them across. I mean, you can go back to the game where Taylor Trammell hits a double, Twins throwing the ball all over the place. He ends up on third base, nobody out. They don't get a ball out of the infield. They end the inning without pushing across a run. And that, to me, was the walking example, the most glaring example of how inept this team has been in what Jerry calls getting table clearers. They get table setters, they don't have any clearers. And not anything you couldn't find anything more evident than that particular moment, just to define exactly what that looks like.
Where do you put the blame right now for what's going on?
I mean, you have to put it on the players first. I put it on, in my pie chart of blame, I would go players, I would go Jerry, and then I would go Scott. And I know, if you get on social media, it's going to be all over the place. But the players, you got a lot of players on this team that have a resume of success. They're young guys you expect. You expect Julio to be up and down. This is his first year. He's 21 years old. You expect Cal Raleigh to be, up and down. This is his first full season. So, even George Kirby, who's been really, really good, but you sort of brace for those moments with young, inexperienced players. But when you've got Jesse Winker, when you've got Adam Frazier, when you've got that entire lineup of guys that have a resume of success, and you see how far under their career numbers they are right now, who else do you blame? I mean, they are the problem for whatever reason, whether they're trying too hard, they're pressing, I don't know what the problem is. But you have to start with the guys that have a resume. 2, I would put it on Jerry Dipoto for roster construction and putting a lot of stock in guys that had a track record of being unavailable. And if you came into the season pinning hopes on Kyle Lewis, that's a huge mistake on your part. To look at him and go, well, we got Kyle coming in this year, so that's going to be a big bat in the lineup. Well, why would you say that? 3 neat procedures. He's never played a full season, so that's huge. Same with Mitch Haniger, who I love. I think he's had 2 full seasons in his entire career. Came off a career season. It's bad luck, but he's had that history. So if you're looking at those guys and saying, well, we don't need to acquire more talent because we've got these guys ready to go, I put that on Jerry. And then Scott, I don't really know what Scott's supposed to do. I mean, he's got he can continue to move the chess pieces around, but they're still the same pieces. So here's what he's given. It's up to him to mix and match. It's not like he's sitting some guy who's crushing it in order to play Abraham Toro. They're all the same.
Are there any kind of changes that you think need to be on the table right now?
I mean, listen, if you're on social media, you see everybody wants Scott Service fired. Everybody wants Jerry Dipoto fired. Is there another manager? If you bring in another manager, does this team all of a sudden turn into all-stars? I don't feel just being down in that clubhouse and talking to the players that, they're not getting a message or they're not trying. There's no effort, or Scott lost the clubhouse, if you will. So I don't know what another manager does other than sort of jar everybody like, whoa, this got real. And maybe that has an impact, but in terms of wholesale changes, I just don't know, unless they're going to go out and spend a truckload of money at the deadline. I'm not sure what you do. I don't know that a new manager mid-season fixes anything. I don't know if firing Jerry Dipoto mid-season fixes anything. What if you still have the same cast of players to play with that are underachieving right now?
So they're getting contributions from some homegrown players like Julio, Logan Gilbert, George Kirby. How do you take that into stock compared to how they're falling short of expectation?
I mean, I think if you're being objective, you look at that and go, I see what they're building. I see that you've got a core of homegrown players that are starting to live up to the potential, and some exceeding. Logan Gilbert is a stud. That guy should be an all-star. That's homegrown talent who's absolutely living up to and exceeding his hype. Julio is right there. He's up and down a little bit, but you see that he's got star talent. George Kirby, I mean, the guy's got pinpoint control. He hardly walks anybody as a rookie. He gives his team a chance to win almost every time he's out there. There are reasons to be excited about what's coming. The problem is it's still kicking the can down the road, saying, boy, we're looking toward next year could be good. Every year is next year. And that's what Mariner fans are tired of hearing is, well, next year, this guy's going to take the step, and this guy's going to take the step. And at some point, the step has to be taken, and we're competing this year. And that was this year. Jerry Dipoto said 2022 after saying years earlier. So it got pushed down the road even more to 222, and everybody's like, okay, and now here we are, and they're 10 games under 500. People are mad, and I don't blame them.